Welcome back. That was the score, just giving us highlights of how events unfolded. But just a small correction from the score. The KCB Machakos rally has also since been put on hold as a result of the presidential directive suspending all sporting activities in the country. Basically, all sporting activities in the country put on hold. And this is as a result of ensuring safety of all that are involved, all the stakeholders, and more so the players are critical in terms of safety. And as a result of the presidential directive, all sporting activities are put on hold. And also just looking at highlights of what could have transpired in and out of the country. Well, as I mentioned before we went for the score, we had the FIH, Federation of International Hockey Association test series here in the country. Kenya took on Uganda. Kenyan ladies and Kenyan men all in action throughout the week. A total of 9 matches played. 3 for the ladies and 3 for the men. We are joined in studio by a team from Kenya Hockey Union just to help us unpack and of course talk about the new directive that has been put in place by the government in terms of suspending all the sporting activities in the country. We have with us, and very privileged and honored to be joined by Lieutenant Colonel retired Nashon Randiek in studio to just help us unpack what's been happening around hockey and has this directive affected some of their plans. But above all, to talk about the FIH test series that has just been successfully held here at the SEC Union here in Nairobi. Mr. Randiek, good afternoon and welcome to the studio.
Good afternoon, PD, and thank you for having me here this afternoon.
Thank you very much and most welcome. Then we also have with us, we are privileged to have leadership of the two teams. We have Tracy Karanja with us in studio, assistant captain of the ladies side here with us, and as well just to let us know how the whole tournament panned out. Tracy, no stranger to us here at the studio. She's been here before letting us know and always very jovial and ever smiling with us. Tracy, karibu sana and welcome again.
Asante sana, Mr. PD.
Well, last but not least, we have Griffin Okombo. Griffin is the assistant captain of the men's side. It is a young upcoming team paraded by the Kenya Hockey Union. We will find out how everything panned out. Griffin new here in the studio, but when it gets to the court or to the pitch, Griffin is something else in terms of giving directives and running up the pitch. Griffin, good afternoon and welcome as well.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much.
Well, first and foremost, welcome all. Before we even talk about the FIH test series, I'll start, by just engaging Mr. Randiek by just asking, the government directive has, come in yesterday. The president suspended all sporting activities, but when we look at it, it is generally in the interest and safety of the players, which normally is the first priority in any union or in any aspect that goes in. Players, safety and health can never be put at risk. Their safety comes first. Your reaction from the president's, not just the president, but the government's directive in terms of suspending all sporting activities. Your reaction, please.
We welcome the directive because, as you can see throughout the country, actually the spike could be seen by all of us, and we were becoming a bit careless. So it could have never come at the right time. We welcome it. It will affect us, but as you've said it, it's the safety of our players first.
Safety is critical in terms of, continuity and just a stamping authority in any sporting activity. Of course, Kenya Hockey Union had set, to resume its top-tier league next month. Mr. Randiek, even before I engage the players, that as at the moment looks like, it's a wait-and-see kind of situation.
That has been put on ice, and we have to wait and see, but it is worthy waiting rather than going in and coming out with the victims.
Well, definitely, it's better, you know, to act and make some calls other than being sorry by the end of the day. Kenya Hockey Union had set to resume or to kickstart its top tier, you know, league next month, but that has since been put on hold. And as Mr. Randiek says, it's better rather than being sorry by the end of the day. Ladies first, when it comes to the captains or the assistant captains on the other side of the studio, and of course, definitely COVID protocols taken into consideration, because they are completely on the other side of studio, not with us here with Mr. Randiek. And Tracy, I know you can hear me very well. I mean, your reaction to this from a player's point of view, your reaction to the suspension of all sporting activities in the country.
As a typical player, we are very disappointed because we were just beginning to get the hang of the game back after a whole year of being out. And we were very excited also to meet our other players and to be able to now go back to that teamwork that we were used to. So most of the time throughout the year we had more of individual sports, individual working out, and we were very eager to start. But for the safety of the team, for the safety of every individual, and even our families at home, of course we know the situation and we accept it for what it is. We cannot go above it because of our own interests. But we welcome it, of course, as players. We wish that it is not there at all, but the situation is as it is. So we welcome it for our safety, and when things are better, we are coming back with a bang.
Wow. I mean, well put, Tracy. If there is one thing that I've picked up from your statement is it might be a tough decision, but you've mentioned something very interesting that, of course, had to come from a lady, is for the interest of our families as well. There. Thank you, Tracy. Griffin, your reaction before we now get, you know, thick into matters discussion around the FIH test series. Your reaction to this as a player?
Yeah, really tough decision, but again I look at it as an opportunity to go back to the drawing board. Gives us time to recreate, gives us time to come back again and talk about sports in a different perspective.
Giving us time already looking at you know, the positives of this, because they always say there is a silver lining to everything, and Griffin looking at more time to prepare and come and bounce back in a strong way. Mr. Randiek, first and foremost, congratulations for having been able to, you know, to host neighbors Uganda, and of course the first FIH test series in the country. How was it? Were you satisfied as a union the way it was run in terms of you know, having this during tough times, COVID? You have to ensure safety and, you know, of everyone involved, from the umpires, the referees, to you know, to the playing unit, all the officials. Were you satisfied with the organization and the way it was run?
We were satisfied with the organization because the protocols were followed. We had to follow the FIH protocols, Africa Hockey protocols, and the National Association, that is Kenya. And when we talk about the National Association, you have to conform with the national government protocols. They were all followed, and we were happy that nothing came out of it at the end of the tournament.
In terms of the performance by both teams, were you satisfied as Kenya Hockey Union? There is the argument that you sent, you know, a very young men's team, but there is also the argument that you underrated Uganda from a men's point.
A decision had to be made because, you know, before the series, we had the Northeast Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. This time round, Africa came up and said that we are going to have a qualifier before the Africa Cup of Nations. So in our region, only 2 teams confirmed participation. That is Uganda and Kenya. So we got direct qualification. And that is when Africa said, if you are interested, then you can go ahead and have the series, so long as you get them sanctioned by FIH, which we went ahead and did. Looking at the results, so during the Northeast Africa qualifiers, we were going to field the senior team, but when that was put off, the coaches decided to have a hybrid team that was taking at least 65% of the junior team and the remainder senior, because you always we are always biased towards the junior team because they are the people who are taking over from the seniors. So that is exactly what happened. But maybe we didn't have enough time for the two teams, you know, to blend properly, and because the juniors play a different, you know, type of hockey, and the seniors do. I think you will hear from the players themselves. They will talk about it. And like you've also mentioned it, we've not played Uganda for a long time, and we knew Uganda that we played many years ago, and it was going to be a, you know, just a formality. But the Ugandans had prepared for us, and actually when they came in, that is when we realized that we would have gone the other way around as opposed to putting a hybrid team. But then we said, you know, you are out there, you've already undressed, whether the water is cold or warm, you just go ahead and have a bath.
Waswahili wanasema maji ukishayavulia nguo sharti uyaoge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where they found themselves. When Mr. Randiek talks about, you know, having played Uganda very many years back, just to refresh your memory, he was, Mr. Randiek was a member of the 4th All-African Games gold medal side with the likes of Peter Katza, Simi Goyal, you know, there were so many players, and Mr. Randiek was part of that team. Tracy, as the assistant captain of the ladies side, 3 out of 3, you know, clean 9 points of this. Were you satisfied from the ladies point of view that you know, you played well, or do we put it differently, that Uganda was just no match for you guys?
First and foremost, Ugandans were very worthy opponents. We respect them as colleagues in the game and opponents, and we were also very satisfied with our wins. That is, our goal was to win all the matches. Our goal was also to incorporate the young players to be able to get into the system of playing high-level hockey, international hockey, and to be able to withstand the pressure that comes with it. And after the series, I would say, we were able to get to that goal. I will not say 100% because it needs experience, 1 or 2 times of the young players playing together and being in such a tournament or in such a pressure zone to be able to get to the standard that is needed. But overall, we got to our goal. Our goal was to win. Our goal was to be able to have the structure remain the way it was, being able to do our systems right, play to the systems, be able to get our basics right, be able to do our clinical finishes and all that. And a few times we didn't get it right, and we were able to correct, and we were very happy with our results.
Well, looking at some of you know, the highlights, you know, from the same Griffin, the men's side, 1 out of a possible 9 points. I know not a result you wanted as a team. What was the general reaction of the team after the 3 matches that you played? Were you satisfied?
In terms of satisfaction, I'd say no, because our objective was to win all the matches, and 2, our objective still was to expose our juniors, to have them being used to these international matches. So for the second objective, we achieved it. For the first one, we did not achieve it because it came at the expense of our senior side losing to Uganda, whom we've not played for a long period. Ugandans have been actually training together for a very long period as compared to Kenya. Their league was on, and so it was actually very difficult to compete against them. After this long period, you don't know how they play, you don't understand their structures. It was very difficult. In terms of the juniors, I think they did a fantastic job. They did very well. Also, given that the Under-21 tournament is coming up later in the year, it's a very good exposure for them. And for us, the seniors, I think we also did a good job in terms of pushing them to their limit and beyond their limits. That's what I can say.
Well, tough indeed, because looking at, 1 point out of a possible 9 for the men, Mr. Randiek, clearly Uganda is a team that not many would have expected to beat Kenya. But like you rightly put it, no one knew about it, and you also needed to throw in the youngsters. Based on what you saw from a union point of view and the way the youngsters played, do you think the future is bright?
The future is bright. But we have to put in a lot of hard work. That is what I'll say. So we have to go back to the drawing board, and the coaches have to burn the midnight oil and see what needs to be corrected, what type of players need to be brought on board. And I think we will get back there sooner than later.
As we look at that, we are looking at Kenya ranked 4th in Africa, a very, very respectable position, Mr. Randiek. And we are looking at the African Junior Championships that were to be held in March, pushed to August. If it happens, are you likely to send a majority of the team that played against the Ugandans, or if it happens, you will have to, get a new team altogether to go out and try their best in Ghana?
That will be the nucleus of the team, because in their own category, I think even the performance will be different from the way they performed in Nairobi. And with a bit of sharpening here and there, we expect them to perform better.
Oh, well, it's something that many would be looking out for. Tracy, we are looking at a very good performance from the ladies' side. Of course, this one can argue is a translation of what we've always seen with the ladies' clubs, playing so well, formerly Telkom, now Blazers, which you play for. Then, of course, Marco Landers, very big teams from the ladies' side. Do you think this is as a result of the good performance by the ladies' clubs that is translated into the national team?
Yes, definitely, because there's crop of players from the top tier teams such as Blazers, Strathmore, USIU, Kenyatta University, and other top tier teams that are in the league are the source of the players that are in the national team. So it might be a direct translation, and even better, because when we are able to train together, we even gain more skills from learning from each other, learning from other people whom we considered as opponents before, but now as teammates. So I would say, maybe use the word hybrid, because it's a better team now than the club level individual teams.
Well, I mean, it's so clear because looking at the way the ladies have been playing, a lot, comes into play. Before we go for a smaller break, Griffin, just to find out, gone are the days when armed forces used to completely dominate the Kenyan hockey scene. They are not there. You are playing for, Wazalendo. And as we look at the current pressure that is coming in from the performance that has just been witnessed, what do you think needs to be done so that we get back to that stamping authority position that Kenya hockey men's team is known for? What do you think we need to do? Because 1 out of a possible 9, one can argue is a bit embarrassing, but it looks it depends on which side you're looking at it. Are you looking at the glass as half full or half empty?
Yeah, I think yes, it's embarrassing, but who said it's going to be easy? It's a process of transition. It's a process of development. And I think whatever it's being done already, we are on the right track. I think that is the right way going forward. Recently, we had the Hockey Union doing a program for coaches. And now we have the hybrid coaching, which has been missing a lot in Kenyan hockey. And this is the only way forward. Yes, the results were not as pleasing as we all may have wanted, but even as you build your own home, you start from somewhere.
Well put, you start from somewhere. Before we proceed by continuing by building that base from somewhere, let's take a short commercial break. When we come back, find out from Mr. Randiek and of course the two captains in studio, Griffin and Tracy. We have so much happening. The leagues now have been put on hold and everything. Are we going back to default setting, and what's the plan? How do we move from here? That after this short commercial break. You're welcome back. That was a short commercial break. Remember, before we went for the break, we were talking around the performance from an FIH test series point of view. Kenya taking on Uganda. The first for the ladies, 3 out of 3, 9 points. For the men, 1 out of a possible 9. Mr. Randiek says a young team sent out there trying to learn the ropes. And of course, there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are those who argue that is it about the light at the end of the tunnel or taking the tunnel where the light is? It depends on how one looks at it. Mr. Randiek, these matches were played at the Sheikh Union grounds, not City Park. One wonders, what's the status of City Park grounds?
Oh, City Park, the turf has outlived its lifespan. So now we need to replace the turf. We are already working on that. We had initially put our budget to the ministry, and it was given back to us to actually engage public works to front and actually play the lead role while presenting that quote to the Ministry of Sports and Heritage.
Is it the same turf, new turf in 1987?
No. It's been replaced. It has been replaced. That one was replaced after about 15 years. So this one is now also over 10 years. So we're already working with the public works, but I think they are short in human resource, and they've taken quite a long time because they're also traveling around the country trying to work on the stadiums, which the government is pushing through. They are the same people, same personnel. Wow. But we've already had a word with the PS Sports, that is Joe Kudo, and he is prepared to assist us to get somebody from Public Works actually to hasten that process, so that now they can submit the quotation to the Ministry of Sports to look at it. Because the turf itself, it comes in different components. The turf is 20 million. And then we have the base. The base was originally done in 1987. Definitely, it has it has been damaged. So it has to be worked on. But that one, I think Public Works can do a good job on that. And then we have also to redo the watering system, because normally you water the turf in less than 3 minutes. You flood the ground in 3 minutes, and you get it ready to play. But if the system is not working, like ours now, you need about 15 minutes to water the same turf.
I have never understood why, hockey pitches are watered, because I see it internationally, I see it all over. I mean, water on the turf, but that's talk for another day. Tracy, we are now back in default settings where we were, and it might be the norm for a very long time. Now that our league suspended, how are you going to ensure that you remain at your best so that when the bell rings that we are back, you bounce back with a bang? Do you want to work on a training program from your technical teams, that as a team you will be working on a program, a daily program, weekly program, monthly program? What is it like for you and the entire team from a club point of view, and of course national?
On the national front, from even the first wave, as a team, we already had our fitness trainer, Mr. Cyrus Kanyi, who would send in workouts in the team WhatsApp groups, and which we are able to do at home and with very minimum space, just space to be able to work out on the spot. And that was able to keep us on our feet, at least active. Might not be fit, but active, and which is very, very important. And also just keep on a positive attitude, keeping safe, keeping healthy, making sure that you're boosting our immunity, making sure that we have the right mental, state at all times, eating well also. As a team, we want to aspire to always check on each other, because at times we are so used to the team sport, team spirit, that when we are taken apart and we have to be at our homes alone, maybe with only our families, it takes a toll on us, because we are very social, and man is social anyway, so it takes a toll on everyone, whether they are a sports person or whatever that they do. So in this regard, we aspire to keep in touch with each and every player. There are players who will result to going up country where life is easier. There are players who would result to even downgrading maybe to a different environment, or to stay with relatives. So just keeping in touch would really help them to know that, we are all going through this, and we have to persevere through it. It will end. Everything that has a beginning has an end. Yep.
Very good way to, to console oneself. Everything that has a beginning will come to an end, and all that it will take is a lot of discipline from both you and I in terms of ensuring that we eradicate and get rid of this pandemic. It's a tall order. Yes, it can be done. Griffin, from your end and the rest of your team, tall order indeed. What's the, the training module now looking like? Have you already engaged as a technical bench and playing unit combined in terms of coming up with a program that can ensure that you remain active, you remain disciplined, and by the end of the day, you just stick within an informed and guided program?
Yes, of course, we have done that. From the national team setup, we have a program. We are coming up with a new program that will make sure that this group is still together. We are training wherever we are. By the help of our coaches, our fitness coach, we are still coming up with a program, and I hope by the end of the week we will have this program set up. From the club setup, we've had this program. Now, because the environment is different at the club setup, of course, with the guidelines of the health protocols, we are really following closely and observing them. In terms of all sportsmen, it's a difficult period for everyone. The world is actually ill at the same time. Everyone is struggling. Everyone is fighting against COVID. But at the end of the day, there's something about sports. It gives you emotional intelligence. we've been in situations, similar situations in the field. So how then can we transit these situations to the difficult times in our daily lives is the question we should be answering at the moment.
Griffin, still with you. I mean, I'll put you a narrative. It might sound funny, but yes, it is. In football, the Ugandans say they have Kenya's number. Anytime they want to beat them, they call them. That's in football. Yeah. You've now seen how they play. Given another opportunity against Uganda and with proper preparations, will it be a case of 1 out of a possible 9 points?
No, absolutely no. Wanasema usione simba amenyeshewa. That's the narrative we are working with. And yes, we lost to Uganda, and maybe the loss was worth it.
Yes.
Because now we have time to understand the demands of the structures we are trying to work with, the demands of our strategy, and the loopholes and the pockets we need to fill. So I think the loss was worth it, and Ugandans have wamechokoza nyuki.
Kila mwamba ngoma Waswahili wanasema uvutie upande wake, lakini si neno wanchokoza nyuki, wameichokora. Je, watastahimili? Ndilo swali. Usijali, sababu kila mwamba ngoma uvutia upande wake. Nashon, you know, Lieutenant Colonel retired Nashon Randiek. You've had, you know, your captain talk, you know, really coming out and saying maybe that loss was a wake-up call. Maybe it was worth it for them to get back and realize that, come on guys, we have a lot of work to be done, which is another positive way to look at it. As we look at this, you mentioned earlier on that you're already looking at a way to transition from the junior so that there is continuity, you know, in the near future. I believe you're working with Kenya secondary schools in terms of the vibrant hockey leagues at the school level. Do you think the loss, you know, could have been a blessing in disguise, and it is a wake-up call for us to, you know, get to know do the right things as we build a team for the future?
One, I totally agree with you. It is a wake-up call. And two, like we were discussing off the screen, it has been a very, very long time since we participated in international tournament, especially for the juniors. The last time we were out there was 2019. And that was the senior team in South Africa. The juniors, no. And when we talk about matters transition, you need a lot of developing the team and exposing the team before you can get it to where the team that you are taking over from were. We are working with Kenya secondary schools. We know that for us to get the young crop, we have to go to the secondary schools. If you look at our junior team now, it is 100% from Western, Nyanza, Nairobi, and a bit of Rift Valley. And they all came from the secondary schools. So we are already working with them. We just need to develop these players and expose them. Exposure, we have realized, is very important. Once we build their basics and they are confident, then we have to expose them to play against different national teams, playing different types of hockey. They have to play the Asian type of hockey. They have to play the European type of hockey. They have to play the African type of hockey, so that when we go for international tournaments, they will be ready and prepared for it.
Well, preparation will be key. My director tells me we are almost running out of time, but it would be wrong for me not to ask very quickly in less than 30 seconds to engage Griffin. Griffin, what would your message be to your fellow players, not just in hockey, but your fellow sportsmen and sportswomen in the country as at now that we are going through tough times, in 30 seconds?
My message to them is, hold on. This thing will come to an end. We are taking the tunnel to the light.
Hold on. They are taking the tunnel to where the light is. A very good message. This thing will come to an end. Tracy, your message to your fellow sportsmen and sportswomen in the country during these tough times, and even just the public in general.
Yes, to all players out there, stay safe, stay active, and get in tune with God.
Stay safe, stay active, and just get in tune. It will soon come to an end. President Kenya Hockey Union, Lieutenant Colonel retired Nashon Randiek, you have the final word. What would your message be, to your fellow sportsmen and sportswomen in the country, your fellow administrators, and general public at large?
I think to the administrators, this is a very difficult time we're going through. And this is the time our sports women and men need us. Most of these sportsmen and women actually live off, the sports. They live off the ground. That's where they earn. Now when we are on a lockdown, that means most of them cannot even offer their services to the schools where they normally offer their services and get paid, or any other organizations. Now it becomes very difficult for them to put food on the table. And that's when they need the national associations, they need the administrators, for us to see how we can support them to live through this rough patch.
Mr. Randiek, again with you, are we likely to see you organizing as the Kenya Hockey Union, you organizing for webinars where you can get to train your technical team through maybe the Africa Hockey, organization, even for some players, captains, etc.? Are we likely to see such a setup so that there is continuity in terms of knowledge transfer?
They're already on. During the first lockdown, we had 3 months webinars. Training from management to coaches to players and
to medical,
all. We had a 3-month session, when we had these webinars. As we speak, we have some technical webinars organized by Africa Hockey, and more will come. And Kenya Hockey Union will also organize more to build the technical capacity of our national association.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Colonel retired Nashon Randiek, here in studio. Tracy, Karanja, assistant ladies captain, then of course Griffin, Okombo, also assistant men's captain, making time to be with us. Privileged and honored to be with you, having been the first set of guests after the government suspended all sporting activities in the country. It's a great honor because through you, you've gotten the opportunity to pass a message of hope to your fellow sportsmen and sportswomen, to your fellow administrators, and of course looking forward to many more of this going forward. I know we will be interacting through through technology, through Zoom or any other technology apparatus that we will find fit to communicate with you. So thank you very much. We appreciate you making time to be with us, and wishing you all the best in your future endeavors. And of course for Griffin, ndio nyuki wamechokozwa, je itakuwaje? I know you're yearning for that opportunity, and Mr. Randiek will be granting you an opportunity through the Ugandan office, counterparts, administrators, to see if you can have a return for the same. And we will be following closely. For Tracy and team, there are always opportunities. If you sit back and say we are the lionesses in this kingdom, you might just be surprised one day. So there are always opportunities. Thank you very much, all of you, for making time. Mr. Randiek, very good challenge to your fellow administrators. We appreciate you making time and wishing you all the best. And above all, please pass and continue passing out the stay safe message across, because you are big influencers in society. Thank you very much. Up next, we go into the A segment, and this time round, we are taking you down memory lane. We are featuring Joyce Odhiambo, legendary athlete. When we come back, we'll be talking matters handball. What's the difference between handball and football and hockey, and name it? The sporting activities are always very different in different dynamics and different ways to play. Up next is the Ace, featuring legendary athlete Joyce Odhiambo. When we come back, shift gears into handball. The Ace is up next.